You're looking at a really happy mister. This is Corporal Baker, home on his first furlough in over a year. He's a smart, clean-cut guy, and he's a good soldier. He's going to enjoy these days with his family. But right now, it's a good, warm feeling walking down Main Street, exchanging nods and handshakes with the people who have known him since he was a kid. Baker would never get by without a visit to the old drugstore for a Coke and a little chatter with anyone who might be around, just like the days before he went in the Army. It's good to be home. Sleeping late, no details, no formations, no marching, taking it easy. Money on the hip, faces that he knows. What's this? One that he doesn't know. Now, this looks like a girl a man could go for. Not just for the fun, but for keeps. If only he could get to talk to her. Well, he could. It wasn't hard, because she wanted a straw, and it happened they were right in front of him. And that's the way it all started. It was a nice beginning, but it was only the beginning. She put the finishing touch to Baker's furlough and made it wonderful. She was all that a man dreams about, gentle and clean. She liked the simple things. Baker did too. She didn't drink. She didn't like juke joints. She lived in the next block. Her mother and father were good people. She talked soft and she seemed well educated, like Baker. He enjoyed every moment they spent together. You can't blame Baker for enjoying those moments, especially since she loved him. She told him so. Wonderful furlough, and it was tough it ever had to end. But you know how the Army is about those things. They were going to write each other often, though, and that would take some of the edge off being apart. You sure were lucky, Corporal Baker. And all because a sweet girl came along and wanted a straw for her Coke. Well, sit there, Corporal Baker, and have a good time while you can. Sit there and dream about the 10 days you had in heaven. Because in a few hours, you're going to find out just what sort of a furlough you really had. Yeah, 10 wonderful days in heaven.
Good gonorrhea, Baker.
Gonorrhea? Why, I don't know how
I do. You had a dirty woman.
No, sir. A girl back home. She wasn't any prostitute.
Have you known her long?
Why, I met her the day I got home, sir.
On the street or in a bar?
Why, I don't mess around with streetwalkers. I met her in the drugstore.
Was she a pickup?
No, sir. I just met her, that's all.
And you had her that night?
No, sir. The next night.
And you didn't use a rubber?
She was afraid of them, sir.
Or a pro kit?
No, sir.
And you didn't go to a pro station?
She looked clean, sir. She looked clean all over.
Not on the inside, Corporal. Where you touched her, she was filthy and diseased. That girl of yours was just a pickup.
Just what does it mean to have gonorrhea? Well, take this man. He used to be a star athlete. He caught gonorrhea and went to a drugstore instead of a medical doctor. Don't you take chances on being crippled like this. And this is the kind of thing gonorrhea means. Furthermore, it doesn't feel any better than it looks. Now, some dumb Joes think gonorrhea is caused by a strain, like lifting the rear end of a Jeep, or getting tired on a long march, or knocking yourself out on KP, or sliding into second. Well, that's plain crazy. The only strain that gives you gonorrhea is the strain of chasing after a woman. Well, you know what Corporal Baker's doing here in the dispensary, waiting for treatments. But what's this other guy doing here? He's Private Anderson, in the same outfit as Baker's. He's more of a playboy than Baker, but he's not a bad soldier. He's just out for the laughs, and the more of them, the better. He looks pretty unhappy right now, but imagine it's a week earlier. He didn't look so unhappy then. He'd just been paid, and tonight he's gonna cut himself a slice of good time. Anderson's idea of a good time is drinking and girls. He's had months of marching and KP, and this is his night to howl. Well, the prophylactic station's handy. He'll be coming back here for a pro after he's had his fun. Sure. Anderson will be stopping in at the pro station. Or anyway, that's what he thinks now, while he's sober and can still think. Which isn't for long in joints like this one. It's the old setup. Girls, a jukebox, and a bar. Especially the bar, with lots of liquor to lift you until you're way up in the clouds. Anderson was definitely out for a good time, but he didn't think he'd run into anything this good. She certainly was good looking. Damn sight better looking than anything he expected to find in a place like this. Sure, he knew she was a whore. So what? Whores are supposed to keep clean, aren't they? Don't lots of places even have laws to make them keep clean? Now that's what Anderson calls having a good time. And when it was over, it was time to take a probe, because it's no good unless you take it right away. But Anderson didn't exactly feel like leaving. Not when he could lie around and have a smoke, and then maybe for another $2. Well, he was out for a good time, wasn't he? And that's just what he was going to get. And maybe a little more he wasn't out for.
What made you think she might be clean, Anderson? She was a prostitute.
That's it, sir. I figured if being a prostitute was a job, she'd have to keep clean.
Well, maybe she'd like to. But she can't if she takes on men one after another. Any man with a couple of dollars.
But she had a card that said she was in good health.
Probably a week old.
But even if it had been only an hour old, it still wouldn't mean a thing. She could have had a man with VD 5 minutes before she had you and pass his germs on to you.
Yes, sir.